Every winter, millions of us scramble for ways to stay warm without burning dollars on heating bills. But what if I told you there's a simple trick, one you probably already have everything you need for, so effective it almost sounds too good to be true? And here's the weirdest part. Most scientists barely mention it. Why is nobody talking about a $0 heater hack hiding in plain sight? Welcome back to Boring Economic Update, where we look for the practical, overlooked, and frankly, surprising solutions hidden in our everyday lives. If you're new here and you want more surprising economic perspectives and practical hacks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We keep it simple, we keep it real, and yes, even the topics with boring in the title might just save you money, or at least make you rethink the little things. Now, let's cut right to it. Imagine you wake up on a freezing morning, and the windows are frosted over, the floor is ice cold, and as you weigh your options, you know every hour with that heater blasting could cost you more and more on your next bill. We've all seen the same advice. Use draft stoppers, wear extra layers, drink hot drinks. But let's be honest, these tips barely take the edge off. There's one free hack, though, almost sneaky in its simplicity, that barely makes it into conversations. Why? Maybe because it's unexciting. Maybe because there's no gadget or app to sell. But stick around, and you might wonder why nobody ever told you about it in any science class or home economics lesson. So the story starts with a friend of mine, Dave. Dave lives in an old, drafty house in the Midwest. Winters there are brutal. Weeks can pass, where the temperature never gets above freezing and the wind rattles everything. Like most people, he was always looking for a clever way to cut his $300 winter heating bill without having to remodel his entire house. He tried all kinds of tricks: space heaters, blocking vents, electric blankets. But by January, the bill was still climbing. He called me one night frustrated, convinced there had to be something missing, some basic trick that nobody talked about. That's when I remembered something from decades ago, something my grandfather used to do that I hadn't thought of since I was a kid. My grandfather, who grew up during the Depression, never wasted a dime. He never relied on expensive solutions when a free trick would do. Growing up, he always said, "You don't heat the house, you heat yourself." Sounds simple, right? But then he'd do something odd. On the coldest nights, he'd make a sort of tent out of heavy blankets right over the dining table and spend the evening reading, playing cards, or having dinner with the family inside this makeshift canopy. Sometimes, if it got really cold, we'd even sleep under there. It trapped the heat we made with our own bodies and kept the cold away. No electric blanket, no heater, nothing. Just physics and a little old-fashioned ingenuity. Fast forward a few decades, and I tell Dave about this. Skeptical, he tries it one night. Not out of excitement, but because he had nothing to lose. He drapes a heavy blanket over his kitchen table, moves a couple of chairs inside, and sits there to read. He texts me an hour later, "Dude, it's actually warm under here." He spends the next few days doing his work calls inside his blanket fort, only turning on the central heat for a half hour in the morning. At the end of that month, his heating bill has dropped. Nothing dramatic, but enough to notice. More importantly, he didn't feel nearly as cold. It wasn't magic. It was just using what he had, in a way people used to do before central heating was everywhere. Now, here's where the curiosity kicks in. Why isn't this more common? Why don't scientists bring it up more often? After all, the science isn't mysterious. You trap a small airspace with your own body heat. Every person radiates around 100 watts of energy at rest, which is just about the same as a light bulb. Put that energy in a room and it disappears. Put it in a tiny space under a blanket, fort, and you're the heater. It's free, it's basic, and it works. You might ask, is that all? Well, there's a little more behind it. Some cultures have even built entire traditions around creating personal heat spaces. In Japan, there's the kotatsu, a low table covered by a blanket with a small heater underneath that families gather around to keep warm. In the UK, people used to put hot water bottles at their feet under the covers. In other words, for most of human history, people would heat themselves or a small space around them, not the whole house. Central heating, while convenient, is a 20th century luxury and one that costs a fortune when fuel prices rise. Yet, here we are, still cranking up the thermostat even when we're sitting alone in a big empty living room. So, the question grows, is this just a nostalgic trick, or is there more to it? What does this simple $0 hack reveal about our relationship with comfort, energy, and even the very basics of how economics shapes our daily lives? Is it just about comfort, or is there something important here that the experts and scientists are ignoring? Something so simple that, well, it just doesn't make headlines or sell new technology. Why aren't more people, especially experts, talking about insulation on a micro level, the blanket fort method, as a real solution for both comfort and cost during colder months? As we keep peeling back the layers of this topic, I want you to imagine how different your own winter nights could feel just by using the oldest trick in the book, without spending a single extra dollar. So, what's really behind this $0 heater hack? And why do those who know about it swear by it while others barely hear a whisper about it? Let's look at the science, the economics, and the strange way that the simplest ideas are often the ones we overlook the most. It's kind of funny when you think about it. We spend so much of our lives chasing the next innovation, the next big breakthrough that's going to make our lives easier or cheaper. You see it everywhere, from smart thermostats to digital radiators, tools that promise ultimate comfort with just the swipe of your finger. Meanwhile, this $0 hack sits right under our noses, quietly ignored by the experts, dismissed as old-fashioned or just too boring to mention. But think about the basic principle behind it: insulation. Every building code, every scientific article about energy savings eventually lands on insulation as a key factor. Thick walls, double-glazed windows, attic foam, all of that costs serious money. But a blanket and a table? That's insulation too, just on the scale of a single person. Dave wasn't the only one who got curious about this. As the story spread among friends, more people started trying variations of the same idea. Some used tents meant for camping, set up inside their apartments on cold hardwood floors. Some used sheets clipped around bunk beds, making a sort of pod. Even in offices, you'll sometimes see people draping sweaters over their laps and a jacket over their shoulders, creating their own personal heat bubble as they work through a long day. While nobody is running scientific trials on these homemade forts, it's a universal truth that a smaller airspace, when insulated, traps heat better, and your body is a steady 24/7 heat source. The part that gets interesting is the economics. Right now, with energy costs swinging wildly and climate change making winters both less predictable and sometimes more brutal, the cost of simply keeping warm is turning into a genuine financial challenge for many households. The Department of Energy will tell you all about programmable thermostats and smart grids, but their guides mention personal insulation, almost as an afterthought. There's no app for throwing a blanket over a table. That doesn't mean the science is lacking, just that the solution isn't flashy enough to be sponsored by a utility company or written about by a popular tech magazine. And think about the scale. In New York, for instance, the average old apartment can lose heat at an alarming rate, especially in pre-war buildings with poor insulation. Renters have limited power to make permanent upgrades. For decades, residents have stuck plastic wrap over windows or rolled towels against doors. But what if you could just move some furniture and use a spare comforter to create a true microclimate, a space that stays toasty using only the warmth you're already generating? For some, especially those living paycheck to paycheck, this could mean staying healthy, even staving off hypothermia during cold snaps. You might wonder, if this works so well, why hasn't it gone viral? Honestly, it's probably because it sounds almost childish. You mentioned building a blanket fort, and people think of rainy day indoor play or desperate college dorm hacks. Not a practical answer for adults living in the real world. Add in our culture's fascination with all things new, digital, and automated, and you can see why the personal tent idea got shoved aside. Yet, there's a curious link here. The more our homes become smart, the less we're encouraged to use our own creativity and old-fashioned problem-solving. Here's something else. Studies have shown that even moderate exposure to cold can affect sleep quality, focus, and mood. This isn't news. Anyone who has tried to write an email with cold fingers knows how energy-sapping it is. Now picture someone who can't afford to keep the house at 72 degrees, but spends evenings under a room within a room. Could their performance at work, their happiness at home, actually improve from this low-tech fix? Suddenly, that $0 hack feels more life-changing than silly. Let's push the curiosity further. Is there a hidden economic message in all this? It might be less about science ignoring the obvious and more about the economics of energy itself. Companies have no motivation to promote zero-cost solutions, especially those that require you, not them, to take action. An electric space heater is a product, a transaction, something that generates revenue. A blanket fort relies on stuff you already own. There's no profit margin, no aftermarket upgrade. And so, there's no incentive to put this trick in the spotlight. The same goes for scientists and government agencies. Their job is to address problems at scale. How do you heat an entire city or make an entire apartment block more efficient? That means focusing on upgrades that can be measured, purchased, and reported in official statistics. If someone asks, what's the official way to stay warm for free? The answer is often, dress warmly and use space heaters safely. The specifics of micro-insulation or the $0 blanket trick just don't fit the big picture solution. On top of that, you wonder how habits and culture keep ideas like this out of the mainstream. In some countries, like Russia or parts of China, people have long traditions of winter rooms, spaces that are heavily insulated and used just during the cold months, while the rest of the house is basically abandoned during deep winter. In modern America, where space is prized and open-plan living dominates, the idea of closing off part of your life to beat the cold seems foreign. Yet, walk through any city neighborhood during a winter blackout, and you'll spot people clustering in corners, blocking out drafts, doing their best to shrink their heated area to just what they need. Life hacks go viral, but this one just hasn't, maybe because it requires a little time, a little creativity, and the willingness to look a little silly for a few hours. But there's another angle hiding here. What about mental health and social connection? During the worst parts of winter, isolation is a real issue. The very act of building a small, warm shared space could not only save money, but also create a sense of connection, just as my grandfather's family did around the dinner table fortress. Sure, it's not going to make your whole house comfortable, but maybe that's the secret. Comfort is more about sharing warmth, attention, and a sense of control than it is about the actual number on the thermostat. It leaves us with some pretty big questions. Could this old school trick actually teach us something about how to deal with larger economic or social problems? Is the lesson less about heating buildings and more about focusing resources where they matter instead of wasting them on empty space, empty promises, or empty trends? What else do we overlook in our hunger for complicated answers that might actually help us live better, cheaper, and smarter if we were willing to return to basics, at least for a few months every year? The story of the $0 heater hack is more than just a tip for saving on your winter bills. It's a strange mirror to our entire approach to progress, economics, and the way we treat old wisdom in a modern world that acts like it's already seen everything. Now, step back for a second and imagine the broader impact if more people embrace this $0 heater hack, not just as a quirky survival strategy, but as a mindful choice about how we live. Let's say that instead of everyone chasing after the latest heating gadgets or expensive home upgrades, communities started looking at old ideas with new eyes. You notice some surprising things at this scale. For one, the very concept of personal insulation starts to overlap with trending ideas like minimalism and even the environmental movement. Think about it. When you shrink your heated living space down to just where you are, you use a fraction of the energy. That means lower emissions, less strain on the grid, and fewer resources spent on fossil fuels or even electricity from renewables. It's easy to see how this connects to big debates about energy policy. Our entire system of heating homes is designed for convenience and uniform comfort. One knob, one thermostat, one bill. But when prices spike, or when blackouts hit during winter storms, most of those grand solutions collapse. Suddenly, the basic skill of keeping yourself warm, using whatever you've got, returns as the most reliable answer. It's the same logic that led entire countries to develop zoning inside homes. Kitchens as family gathering spaces with their own tiny heater, bedrooms closed off and left cold during the day, thick curtains pulled at night to keep heat from escaping. These old-world strategies are not just practical, they are proof that every generation has had to answer the same hard question: how do you stay warm when money runs short and the weather runs wild? But here's a twist. Why do most scientists, with their data and technology, not talk much about the blanket fort method? Maybe because science, as it's practiced in publications and headlines, looks for scalable solutions, something that cities, states, or nations can apply at once, not just in private little pockets. The fort in the living room fix doesn't scale well, at least not in the traditional sense. Yet, if you read between the lines in energy studies, you'll notice a recurring truth. The biggest waste comes from trying to heat empty space. If all you're doing is keeping yourself warm, your own body heat, maybe boosted by a cup of tea or coffee, does most of the job in a small, insulated spot. But turning that principle into a public policy headline, it just doesn't have the same shine as a net zero skyscraper or a massive infrastructure project. You might be thinking, all right, but what does this really mean for someone in a normal apartment or house today? The simple truth is, anyone can try it tonight, and the results are instant. As soon as you climb under that tent or cocoon, you'll notice the air starts to warm up, not just from your breath, but from every bit of heat your body radiates. Pair that with a hot drink or a heating pad, and for a couple of hours, you'll feel as if you've turned back the clock to a time when people actually gathered close, swapped stories, played cards, and waited out the cold together. And let's be honest, if something works instantly, costs nothing, and doesn't require a battery, app, or instruction manual, that's as rare as it gets these days. But let's bring it back to economics, because that's the real foundation of the hack. When money is tight, the golden rule is to focus on what gives you the most value for the least cost. Nothing does that better than personal insulation. Think about what actually happens on a cold night. You turn up the heat, your furnace groans to life, and in half an hour, maybe your whole house is 3 or 4 degrees warmer. But most of that warmth goes to empty chairs, empty hallways, maybe the cat sleeping in another room. The $0 heater hack flips that completely. Now, instead of paying to heat empty space, you're trapping every bit of heat your body makes for yourself. If everyone did even a little of this at peak hours during winter, the overall demand on the grid might decline just enough to keep a power crisis from happening. That kind of impact is both invisible and massive. Economists call it aggregate savings, when a bunch of small individual choices add up to something huge at the system level. That's why old school tricks have more power than you think. And when fuel prices go up, or there's a crisis like the Texas freeze or the energy shortages in Europe, suddenly people remember the basics of personal survival. There's a lesson here for every economic challenge. Often the smartest solutions are not the ones pushed by companies or even by governments, but the ones regular people discover and share quietly over generations. Another fascinating angle is how traditions like these foster resilience, the ability to adapt, survive, and even thrive when things go sideways. Whether you're dealing with job loss, pay cuts, or just an unusually harsh winter, having a plan B that doesn't require spending anything puts you ahead. That's part of why families in hard times historically turn to tight-knit living, sometimes literally huddled together under thick covers. It was warmer, yes, but it also built routines and memories, bonds often missing from our current tech-driven lives. In today's world, so much emphasis is on independence, separate rooms, individual devices, everyone streaming their own show. But on the coldest nights, the simplest solution involves gathering together, sharing warmth, and perhaps rediscovering that old school togetherness in the process. And if you look globally, you can see echoes of this idea everywhere. Northern Europe has the tradition of hygge, coziness, and shared spaces. In North America, older homes still have parlor rooms specifically designed to be closed off and heated separately from the rest of the house. Even nomadic herders in Mongolia know to huddle in a small yurt, layering skins and blankets before lighting a fire. In each case, it's a lesson in concentrating comfort, not spreading it too thin. So, how do you move from a personal experiment to a broader movement? That's where sharing stories and real experiences comes in, just like the way Dave discovered the table fort, then his friends, and so on. It's by passing along these small wins that ideas actually spread. The more we share not just the how-tos, but the why we did it stories, the more we change the story around comfort and security in tough times. As we wrap up, here's my challenge to you. Before the next cold front hits, try the $0 heater hack for yourself. Whether you're in a tiny apartment or a sprawling house, carve out a warm little zone, invite someone in, share a cup of something hot, or just enjoy the difference a few blankets can make. Then come back and let us know how it went. Did it surprise you? Did it spark a memory or even create a new tradition? Drop your stories and ideas in the comments below. And if you know someone who's always cold in winter or struggling with heating bills, share this video with them, because sometimes the smartest economic move is also the simplest. And on Boring Economic Update, we're here to find and share those hidden gems together. Stay warm out there, and I'll see you in the next one.